Good afternoon, NOAH. My name is Florian, and I bring to you the Volocopter. This is how we envision urban mobility tomorrow. I'm going to stress the point tomorrow. So I agree with a lot of things that Remo just presented, but I think the Volocopter is much closer than many people think. And I'm going to try to convince you of that fact in the course of the next 10 minutes, as entertaining as I can. So why are we looking to the air to find solutions for our mobility problems? The infrastructure in most cities across the world is at the brink of collapse. We're spending far too much time in traffic congestions, wasting productivity along the way. With population growth and urbanization trends continuing, these problems will only get worse. Many people are looking to autonomous cars to more efficiently use the infrastructure that we have. But the problem with that is that recent studies show we can expect a huge rise in the miles driven that will completely overcompensate the efficiency gains that we will get from autonomous cars. So the problem really is getting more dramatic by the day. And that is the reason why we find so much embrace by cities worldwide to the air mobility concepts that we are presenting. Now, how do we get there? We as Volocopter are the pioneers in the space. In 2011, this is Thomas sitting on the infamous yoga ball, used or abused as a landing gear, pioneering the concept of distributed electric propulsion. This is the first electric multicopter carrying a human ever in human history. We made it into the Book of World Records by Guinness with that flight. It's a true curiosity. But at the same time, that sparked the interest of NASA and aviation safety authorities around the world. Everybody who's interested in this space contacts us and wants to learn about what did you learn since 2011. What did we do going from there? It took us 5 years to build the Volocopter VC200, and many of you may know that picture. We certified the vehicle according to ultralight regulation in Germany. Why did we do that? Because this is a segment in the aircraft industry which remained on a national basis. It kept us away from the European level for some time, increasing the speed that we could do on the certification route. So this is our co-founder, Alex, weighing 250 pounds. So that's a real payload on the vehicle that we're having there. Conducting the maiden flight, and please notice the registration mark we have on the back of our vehicle. He's applauding the team on the ground, right? None of that, I have to maintain control over my helicopter, and if I don't, within a split second, the vehicle's gone. This is extremely simple and safe to fly. This is the latest version of the Volocopter. We call it the 2X. The main features of the Volocopter are it is designed to be extremely safe, extremely low noise. It's extremely simple to fly. A 5-year-old can intuitively control the Volocopter within an instant. It's not allowed to do so today, but in theory, it's absolutely feasible. And last, it's very cost-effective. The vehicle per se is cost-effective, but also the operation of the vehicle is very cost-effective, because what we did is we traded mechanical complexity for electronic complexity. I always consider Volocopter much more an electronics and software company than a traditional aircraft manufacturer. Last word on the safety concept. What you see is the redundancy on the individual electric propulsion chains. We can lose up to 9 of our 18 propellers as long as they're distributed symmetrically to maintain our attitude and be flying safely. Our ambition is to get to safety levels that are completely unprecedented in the history of aviation. Why do we believe that's necessary? Because if we want to operate Volocopters at scale inside the cities across the globe, we need to have the statistics right. So we need to get to around 10 to the power of -9 in probability of safe failures. With respect to the regulation, when our regulator first came to the airfield and said, well, what are your plans? We said, look, we can show you the performance of the vehicle unmanned, right? He had never experienced something like that before. Usually he walks around the plane and looks for the rudder and looks for the mechanics. Yeah, seems to be working, try it out and go fly. We had several hundred unmanned flights before we even put a pilot inside the vehicle. That's a completely new paradigm. And secondly, he asked, so what happens if a failure occurs? How do I know that the computer reacts in the correct manner? And we said, well, you choose the failure, and we show you how we can compensate for it. So he was walking on the airfield with us. We were flying the vehicle in full flight. He said, OK, now kick out propeller 2 and 8. And we did that in full flight. Vehicle can compensate for it. Kick out battery 6. Kick out flight control 2. Kick out communication node 17. All of that is fully compensated by the vehicle. That's a completely new world that we're opening up there. So why does the Volocopter look the way it looks? Because we believe there is a huge potential for airborne mobility across a whole variety of missions. But you're going to see very differentiated vehicle concepts for specific missions. Pretty much the same as we see on the ground transportation. Depending on where you want to go, depending on the route, depending on the willingness to pay, you will choose a different vehicle to perform the task. The Volocopter has been designed to act as an air taxi in the urban missions. It's short range, it's extremely safe, it's extremely low noise. And I think those are the two most important aspects to be operating at scale. Now, because we believe in the urban mission, we jumped at the occasion of being invited to conduct an autonomous air taxi flight in Dubai. So just last month, we conducted this flight in unmanned, but in an autonomous mode without any human interference in front of the Crown Prince in Dubai. Now, why Dubai? Dubai is extremely committed to bringing autonomous transportation as a daily routine to their citizens, and they have very ambitious plans surrounding that. They had initially announced another vehicle manufacturer, which apparently didn't really meet all of the safety criteria that they set. So they gave us a call, and within 4 weeks, we said, OK, we're ready to do it. The climatic conditions in Dubai are anything but simple. We jumped at the occasion and conducted that flight at the end of September after several weeks of rigorous testing under real conditions in Dubai, meaning we were flying over open water, we were flying in the desert, we were flying ultimately in a city context for the first time ever. We had 6 different authorities around the table having to give their approval for us to conduct these flights. Dubai, for us, is a demonstration of how willing cities are to embrace these kind of transportation modes. I think Dubai is a perfect example for it because they're very future-oriented. But I do believe once we demonstrate a viable air taxi service in the first city, other cities will follow. So therefore, we are very actively working now with a number of cities to actually start these implementations. Of course, this kind of demonstration can only be the first step towards implementing real air taxi services. So what do we need to really implement that? We need the certification for the vehicle. We need the operating infrastructure. We need the integration in the air traffic management. We need the intermodal integration, because we're not going to serve the entire world right away. And ultimately, of course, we need the regulatory regime to support all of that. We are on a good track on solving all of these issues. We are in contact with the authorities that are responsible for implementing these things. And we think a future in where we can order an air taxi on demand, shared, autonomously picking you up wherever you need to, is just around the corner. And we are going to demonstrate it in the next months. And I wouldn't be under so much stress now if I knew I had a Volocopter picking me up, taking me to City Airport later, but I don't. So therefore, I'm a bit nervous if I'm actually going to make my flight later on. So with that, I want to thank you very much for your attention, and happy and looking forward to the panel that we're going to have now. Thank you.
Thank you.